Alright, so there we go. It's gonna be more with Hagrit. It's gonna be Ra versus Isis this time around. So it's gonna be a full-on eggy war on Oasis. So let's start with that one and see how it's gonna be played. Bit of a micro in there by More, quite nicely done. It's actually speeding you about 1-2 seconds in there, but every second actually counts, of course, in the early efficiency, as he is already going for right now the chickens. Is he gonna be switching into the zebras? He should. If he's not finished yet, he should be switching. I think it would be still worthwhile. But he's probably right now gonna be heading into the hunting dog since he is seeing. Yeah, he didn't notice. He was looking, I don't know where. I'm not certain where he was actually looking for that point. Because of course, if he didn't, then we could have seen him moving there quite a bit earlier. Right now, it might be actually making for a bit of problem for him. Because he could have saved like, I don't know, 5-10 seconds maybe in there, in the building, to already be in this position, as right now he's gonna be having a bit of empowerment. And those two zebras, is he gonna be having some giraffes soon and close? Not sure, but he does have at least the hyenas, which might be a food source that sometimes it's not really all that bad. But yeah, he did discover the giraffes, so he's gonna be having all of them, and he knows that the hunting dogs are definitely gonna be worthwhile. And the giraffes are also quite close by, so that is another quite nice advantage for his game at this point. Alright, so Boots of Kick Everything, that's gonna be useful for all of those priests, of course, and the Pharaoh as well, to be moving a bit faster, as the TC right next to his base is gonna be a very interesting position of the gold right next to it. It's not bad. That is not bad, especially combined with the gold right behind his base. But we are in an eggy war, so Radiant is gonna be coming at about 7 minutes 50 or to 8 minutes, something like that, if they advance properly, and that is gonna be Radiant from the Chariot Archers. Let's switch into Hagrid's point of view. Also save gold, like literally in the corner. Kind of funny spawn. He does have the giraffes right next to the TC as well, so at least he knows about them. So is he having hunting dogs? Oh, here I can see he basically had absolutely the same situation as More, but he did switch quite a bit earlier. You can see 10 hit points on the Granary, so he noticed quite fast enough. But More also noticed fast enough, but just switched later, which probably could be resulting into Hagrid advancing a bit earlier and having a bit better game overall. So let's see, because those early advantages, the longer the game goes, the basically more effect they are having overall in the timings. But of course, the more also you are having opportunities in somehow counterplaying that by your own mistakes or something like that. But anyway, plenty of giraffes in there. Be having the hunting dogs, right? Yes, he is. Yes, he is, as the gold mine is, unfortunately for him, on basically the other side of the map, and unfortunately doubly. He's having another gold mine, not gold mine, well, pretty much maybe as well, but much more important is a TC on the same side as the other one. That's not good. That's not exactly what you want, because that's gonna be limiting your map control overall quite solidly. You can see, of course, the gold mine. There is another one though, that's a much better one. Okay, so he maybe doesn't even need this one all that much in the early stage, but this one is gonna be very important and could be even gathered by like Miguel here. Gonna be also protecting the DC. Still want to say gold mine in there, but anyway, well, it's gonna be kinda compact base for Hagrid, which might not always be the best. It's gonna depend what kind of tactic actually he's gonna be choosing and what is gonna be his opponent playing. It's a 1-pawn Oasis, that's the funny one. And fun one as well. As the TC4, of course, More, you can see they are gonna be differently spawned. You're gonna be having branches on both sides of the maps, which are gonna be improving, of course, this map control overall. So there we go. He's gonna be having also plenty of gold mines right next to this one. Even though he will have to cut through those forests, it's like one single file. So not really all that much of a problem. Should be fairly easy. And those two gold mines, just a Miguel in the middle, cut through the woods, and this is gonna be a very good combination for More. So yep, so far quite a nice map for the blue player. And the gold mine here, if he actually wants to go through the middle as well, but otherwise it's really tempting to go for the top side. How much has he scouted? Hagrid, he has scouted bottom quite a bit. He knows about all the gold mines for his opponent, and that he also does have the giraffes in pretty good spot for him. As there's a relic at the bottom, the head of Orpheus. For better building LOS. Does it actually increase LOS of obelisks? I would be assuming so. If it does, then it's actually pretty solid relic. Because this is having a vision of 30, so that's quarter more. 8 more is more than quarter more of vision. So like, I don't know, like here, that's basically almost a full screen. Almost a full screen of vision on the obelisk. That's not really bad at all, as he's gonna be picking it up. So yep, realizing exactly the importance of this relic for his gameplay potentially. Okay, so Bus is already coming forward. You can see Mor is gonna be a bit faster advancing. Well, switch off into more in there. And you could have also seen that Hagrit was much better ready for the heroic ages, even though, of course, Mor is gonna be doing the same, as that's exactly what happens in Eggy Wars on Vanilla, which we are basically playing in here. He's having the 6 villages yet again hidden in there, but he really should be yet again paying attention to that. Hopefully he will. A whole lot better than in the last game, where definitely it didn't pay off and slowed his heroic age down quite significantly. Okay, so Hagrid right now he already is gonna become, of course, armor for the armory, having plenty of goats and still maybe even plenty of giraffes, so he doesn't even need to switch yet. Gonna be having a very good early economy, and the advance seems to be really pretty good, because with how it is looking, it's looking solid at about the 715 advance. I really think he can actually manage it at this point. It's gonna be pretty good. Oh, what? Wow. Okay, so that was basically right now some DHL delivery service of the relic, which is pretty good actually, to his enemy, and also losing the Pharaoh in the process, so that's not great. That's something that Mor definitely could have played a whole lot better. Definitely played a whole lot better in there. And of course he's gonna be paying for that, because losing all of that scouting, and much more importantly all of that empowering, that is gonna be quite costly. As it's looking like that actually Hagrid is gonna be repairing, or rather preparing to advance. He's gonna be the last villager, it seems like, at this point. He is gonna be exactly in time, with all of those villagers having all kinds of assorted amounts of food, and if he can deposit it, he's gonna be fine. This is well timed. Could you have seen that? He could have actually advanced, or rather clicked it a whole lot earlier. He was having a bit problem with his hotkeys, it seems like, but otherwise it was very well timed all around, and he's gonna be advancing into exactly the next age, as we said, even faster at about 710. That's exactly the faster heroic that we know from the vanilla, and that is quite a solid one. Whereas Mor is just now clicking as well. He's gonna be 10 seconds later, so without rain, that's not bad either. Not bad either, and he still will be having that kind of good power, and maybe will be able to use it in some kind of blocking manner to probably deny even some ancestors from the opponent if he wants to. That is why maybe sometimes he wants to actually take it and keep it for a bit later against an Isis. And against any kind of other god as well. Because if you can block a significant god power like that, that is always quite a nice valuable asset. Alright, so still plenty of gold at the back, but he's already right now camped in at the gold in the front side. So that is gonna be slightly decreasing the effectivity of the prosperity, but he probably doesn't mind all that much. So already right now moving for the big roll that is gonna be coming next to this one then. Oh, that is actually coming.
And to you?
Yeah, he's gonna be actually trying to capture this gold mine. It kinda makes sense. To be honest, kinda makes sense, because not only because of the gold mine, but because he's having the TCs on the top side. Exactly as we have said, it could be a disadvantage in any kind of fight, especially since Mor is gonna be having the opportunity for TCs on both sides of the map, and he is gonna be trying to establish basically map control and trying to deny any kind of chariot archer raiding from Mor, which is kinda bound to come, especially for Ara. So there we go, a bit of a scouting by Hagrid to the top TC, so that he sees where his opponent is gonna be coming. He did go for the bottom because there's a gold mine for him to capture, and of course to somehow control it for himself. As well at the backside he's gonna be finishing with the gold mine, but that's pretty much it. Otherwise nothing else is gonna be coming forward. I would be definitely liking for Hagrid though to place a monument here, because of course you could have seen in the previous match Lyor did a pretty good job with placing his monuments until he kinda didn't in the last game. The important TC in there, but still before that it was quite solid play. But here let's see if Hagrid is gonna be having the idea, because if he can prevent any kind of god power being cast at this point, for example here, then that could be really useful. Though considering the fact that Mor won't be having all that much of an opportunity of any kind of aggressive god power, maybe just basically even the locusts. Even the locusts could be important, because if you imagine not only the gold mine, but if Mor is gonna be attacking here, he could be through the locusts preventing repair of the Migdol, and that is basically equally important. So yeah, I would be definitely liking the monument to be placed at that strategical spot. Okay, so there we go. They're gonna be cast apparently already here. Like, he's gonna be killing quite a bit of villages actually. You can see those, all of those at the top. As we're going around the forest are dead. That's like 4 or 5 villages right there. So this is actually, I was just going to say this is not such a good cast, but it still isn't, but he got lucky with that. He killed about 5-6 villages So that's pretty solid. But otherwise, it's like forest fire without any kind of reason whatsoever. Because as I just said, locusts are very powerful god power. Basically can deny any kind of attempt at repairing, for example, the amygdalas at crucial spot. And since basically when you are fast heroic in, the Egyptians usually rely on only one amygdala, that could be like a win condition if you play it correctly. Definitely could be. But well, it wasn't exactly the case here, as he's already coming up with the army. Gonna be a combination of more cavalry and a bit more chariots in there as well. As of course on the other side we are gonna be seeing probably the same combination. You can see first the chariot archers are gonna be coming forward, and after them a few camels, because of course he has already seen that the opponent is having camels as well. Well, this guy is apparently afraid, so he was trying to hide in the forest in there. Oh well, Pharaoh is gonna be dead just like that. It's maybe not really all that necessary. But anyway, all the armies are now gonna be retreating, but it's not really any kind of loss all that much. He's just basically trying to pick his battles, which is of course quite a solid play, and he is gonna be waiting maybe for a few more siege towers, but for that he will definitely need quite a bit more of the wood gathering capacity in there. Okay, so there's gonna be pickers for him. Could be definitely using hand axe if he's going full on. Oh well, that didn't really do all that much. I was thinking I could be doing a bit more, but he's gonna be losing about 2 villages at least. Maybe even the third one is gonna be killed. Yep, alright, it's good. It's good. It is definitely good. So the shifting sense in there, as more is continuing with the god powers to abuse all of those villages on the wood line in there. Very nicely done. And it is actually quite important, of course, overall, because it is gonna be resulting into maybe a bit of a problem for Hagrit, because he cannot produce all that many chariot archers together with siege towers. As right now, Castle the Ancestors is maybe a bit of a desperation mode and a move, sorry. As of course the army is not all that huge for Hagrid, but it's also not huge for Mor. And much more importantly, he already was, Hagrid, able to get rid of the 2 priests that were here, and only the Pharaoh is basically standing. So right now it's gonna be up to Mor to produce a whole lot more army, but he is having kinda issues with all the gold. With all the gold in there, and he can produce just the priests like one by one. So it's not really all that easy, because of course, especially since we are on vanilla rules, no auto queue is gonna be making it a bit more difficult, because he cannot really rely on the auto queue in solving the situation for him in the most efficient manner, of course. So there we are. There we are, of course, with this little army. As minions are gonna be slowly dying. So you can see that basically Hagrid didn't gain anything at all. He didn't gain anything at all, and he basically threw away a very useful god power. So basically the reason for that is mostly that he didn't have any kind of siege towers. Usually it's not a good idea to be pushing onto the enemy without siege towers, and you can exactly see kinda why. Because even with Ancestors, he just couldn't do anything about it, as the siege towers are gonna be made by Mor, whereas some siege towers are finally coming forward for Hagrid, but right now he doesn't have, of course, the support of the Ancestors, so that was just kind of trigger happy in there, Hagrid. And he's gonna be really unhappy about the result, because of course, right now if he could get like one more siege tower, or at least, well, like at least one, maybe 2 more with the army that he was having, and Ancestors on top of that, then that could have been quite a solid army. That would have been scary for Mor, but he didn't, and of course right now Mor is gonna be returning the strike. Alright, so coming back. Let's see how this is gonna be working. Well, kind of weird battle actually spot for both of the players, because usually you don't really want to take engagements in the middle of nowhere, because then you don't have any kind of advantage. There's really no advantage for either player, unless somebody is having hugely better numbers, which exactly wasn't the case here. And we are looking at the top, where a lot of obelisks are actually being present. And does he have the relic on them then? Oh, he doesn't. Oh, he didn't even pick it up. He didn't even pick up the head of Orpheus, unfortunately, so he doesn't have the OP vision of all of those obelisks. And of course right now with Mor noticing them, even though it's gonna be taking quite a bit, you can see 2 damage per hit by the chariot archers, he's gonna be getting rid of that, and we're gonna be seeing him taking the TC for himself, it seems like. Yep. And even though Hagrid is right now gonna be seeing all of that, it's not like he's having enough army, and Mor is probably gonna be trying to block him through any kind of, or rather block him through heavy units in this choke point, preventing any kind of slippage, let's say it like that, of chariot archers exactly to the top side. Okay, so there we are. Well, both camels dying at the same spot, as of course right now More is gonna be under attack by the siege towers. And just imagine if Hagrid at this point had the ancestors. Imagine that. That would be just basically insta-win of this battle with all of the siege towers. That's the reason why you don't push as an Egyptian with ancestors without the siege towers. The siege towers are an absolutely key unit. The ancestors are not as important, the siege towers are the key. So right now he succeeded even without the ancestors. With the ancestors it will be, well, no question asked. But right now he is of course gonna be also in a bit of a disadvantage because the second TC has been finished for More. Whereas Hagrid is not really even interested in the second TC, it seems like. He doesn't have the resources for that yet, even though he's slowly getting there. But much more importantly though, he did kill the Migdol, and that is quite a bit of actually good news for him and pretty bad news for More, because as I said in, I think in the last game, usually, rather it was actually this one, I think. Usually the Egyptians in Faster Heroic are gonna be relying on only literally one Migdol, and if you can somehow stall that Migdol and attack that, then of course you are gonna be one way and one step much closer to actually winning the game, especially in some kind of almost a mirror matchup like here, Egyptian against an Egyptian. But anyway, you can see right how the Hagrid is controlling games quite well indeed. Oh well, but this is gonna be finished. Definitely nice targeting and correct targeting overall, but unfortunately it's just a bit too late. This Migdol is gonna get finished. But when you see the situation, all you need to do, or all you have to do, is target the Pharaoh first, because he is the most important increase in the speed of the building, whereas the villagers definitely need to become in second, even though it might be seen slightly counterintuitive, because if you stop the villagers, they're not gonna be helping in basically erecting the unit, but the Pharaoh is just a hugely better help than anything else. So yep, that was well done, unfortunately too late, and it's gonna be resulting into another Migdol at pretty key spot, right next to gold mine standing, and it's of course gonna be helping More in securing the game and somehow stabilizing the game at this point. So still a bit of a push by Hagrid at the bottom. There's one siege tower, a few camels, apparently gonna be stopped by those few survivors in there. And I was just looking if maybe More didn't build another Migdol somewhere at the back after he was deleting this one, but apparently not. Everybody went all the way to the top side right next to gold mine to help him with securing another gold mine for himself. So let's check, for example, economical upgrades at this point. It's gonna be hand ducts, irrigation and quarry. Pretty solid. Pretty solid indeed. And for the opponent, unfortunately, not even switching into farms yet fully in there, as he's having only pickaxe and, of course, hand ducts, whereas his opponent is already at quarry. And the farms are inevitably gonna be coming forward. So how Hagrid is ready for that? He does have hand ducts and right now shaft mine, so he is actually coming for the upgrades exactly now. But it's already gonna be later than what More was doing. And Hagrid will be needing plenty of gold for all the farms. He already should be doing that. But he's right now looking at the top side, trying to see if maybe he could help himself with the micro in the battle. Well, this is a really bad spot to fight. I'm right now thinking that Hagrid maybe is trying to fight like literally below the Migdol, so that he can basically avoid the shooting of the arrows. If you are like literally below, an opponent of course doesn't have the upgrade, then the Migdol is not gonna be shooting. That seems like exactly what is right now happening. You can see even if you are standing about here, you're still not being shot at. So that is of course quite a bit of advantage. Exactly why Hagrid was fighting right next to the Migdol in there. But it of course has to be said that overall you are just gonna be like one step away from being lured exactly off the point, and you cannot really move all that much and position your units. So always it's gonna be disadvantageous battlefield, as More is even trying to steal the TC. Oh well, Hagrid not paying enough attention. He's not even really thinking about the second TC anytime in the last few minutes. So that's actually not really very good, as champion, rather More, is gonna be at 3 TCs, and one of them is gonna be Hagrid's. That is very bad news. Very bad news indeed for Hagrid, as he is moving with the villagers, probably for the DC, yes he is. But this one, right on your doorstep, that is, yep, exactly what we said, a problem. Quite and simple. Okay, so there we go. More seems to be right on switching into farms. So he already did use rain, yes he did. So the rain's already gone, so there's not gonna be any kind of potential bonus for Hagrid once he's switching just about now into the farms, as the Pharaoh is unfortunately not really doing anything. And the reason for that is probably that Red was having some kind of auto-queue, or at auto-queue he was having auto-queue. You are on vanilla rules, he was having basically waypoint probably into gold. And for gold, that Pharaoh is gonna be spawned exactly into that spot as well. So the TC is done, mercenaries are gonna be coming forward. Trying to maybe deny the TC, it seems like that he is. Yes, he is. Most certainly, but he's gonna be just a bit too late. Just a bit too late for that. Alright, so those actually two cavalry guys are gonna be quite helpful in getting rid of the mercenary. With all the army coming forward in there as well. But it is of course gonna be switching the battlefield quite significantly. It really seems like that Hagrit is gonna be giving up on the battlefield at the bottom. As Mor is gonna be reacting by a bit of walling. That's a good idea. To help him secure this 4th TC for himself already. With the villagers coming there as well. Whereas at the top side right now, this is solid. This is quite solid. Quite solid by Hagrit. So we did have quite a nice little army to get rid of this as well. So even though it was a pretty correct idea from Mor, and quite a nice one, unfortunately he's not gonna be reaping any benefits out of that. And Hagrit is gonna be even making sure of it with extra Migdol. But still, there's gonna be another TC coming up for Mor, whereas Hagrit is gonna be only at 2, but is he coming for the 3rd one as well at the same time? Yeah, he is. He is. He's gonna be up to the 3rd TC as well. And much more importantly, we're gonna be having some important battle here. I don't think that anybody is having any upgrades here. Oh well, he's actually having copper shields right now more. Whereas Hagrit is having nothing, so that is not really bad. Considering that all of this is shooting. And all of the camels in the front are melee. So that is gonna be quite a bit of help for Mor to stay alive a bit longer. And he's right now dividing the armies exactly so that he can get to the back into the siege towers. That's very well played. Very well played. But unfortunately for him, it didn't really work out fully. As Hagrit is just finishing with the TC and another Migdol. No siege works this time. These are gonna be siege works coming forward. And that is gonna be kind of stabilizing the situation, at least for the moment here. Bit of radiant by the Scorpion Man, not a bad idea at all. As this TC is finished for Mor, so it's gonna be 3 versus 3. But I would be liking a bit if Hagrit paid a bit more attention to this side, at least as far as walling goes. Because if he's not gonna be doing that, then he's gonna be opening himself to some kind of opportunity of sneaky radiant by Mor. And that is definitely not behind him. So there we go, there's attempted siege works right next to the gold mine. But with all the armor, and especially all the siege boats, not siege boats, siege towers, getting rid of course, this building under construction, this is gonna be getting increasingly difficult for Mor to somehow keep controlling. Luckily for him, he still does have quite a solid amount of gold mines somewhere else, like for example at the bottom, and that's still about 5,000. Yeah, oh, 3. Okay, 3,000. This gold mine is not really far away. And considering how actually his opponent is not really anywhere close by with the control all that much, finally he's coming forward with the villagers. With the villager probably to finish with some kind of walling. We are gonna be looking back at the battlefield at the top. Where right now Hagrit is getting the upper hand because he's having heavy chariots. Not having anything out of the armor upgrades, whereas the opponent is having already bronze shields. So let's see who is gonna be coming victorious. I would be kind of favoring the better shields, because the shields are only 20% against Peter's armor for Hagrit. And whereas he's having 10-20 attack, his opponent is having 935. As I said, quite often, armor is always better than attack. So basically right now the armor upgrades should be a whole lot more prevalent than the heavy chariots in here. Let's see if it's gonna be really the case. The difference in hit points is not really huge. You can see that even right now, Mor is having 1 extra hit point on the chariots, even though Hagrits are heavy. So yeah, well, it's of course right now the advantage from the Ra in there, paying off quite significantly. But yeah, well, with a few more siege towers coming forward, this is gonna be a bit of a stale battle, stalemate and stale battle as well. As I'm thinking that Mor won't be having all that much of a chance. To somehow break through here. Yeah, it seems to be basically the same for both players at this point. Siege works attempted to be made by Mor, but he does have the advantage of the TC potentially. But at the same time, having the TC close by for Hagrit as well, it's not really that far away, basically 1.5 screen away. The battlefield, he could be sending reinforcements in there, in mercenaries as well, without any kind of problem whatsoever. As right now Mor is coming through Horus, almost there. An interesting choice that he doesn't go for Son of Osiris, but anyway. Hagrit is unfortunately not anywhere close by to the Mythical Age, and that is of course something that he will be hard-pressed to go for, especially since Mor just advanced. So yeah, even though he does have like some kind of slight technological edge in the heavy chariot, The opponent is already having, of course, the bronze armor, and it's already coming with the copper mail in there. And right now, with the Mythical Age already in, it's gonna be getting increasingly difficult. Interesting decision right now by Moore, who is actually using Tornado kind of like implosion for Atlanteans. He's basically trying to get rid of the army. And you can see it's not really working all that well. He killed about like 4 or 5 units. Or maybe a bit more in there. Not entirely certain how many of them were killed by Tornado. How many of them had the flying day today. But overall he at least did push his opponent back. And maybe he kind of figured that actually his opponent is going to be having Monument here, which he isn't. He's having one only here, and that doesn't extend to this TC. Very certain it will be possible to cast it at least on the front side of this town center, but it's not really true anymore. So of course right now this is gone, and he did gain the advantage. Okay, so that was the plan. That was the plan from Moore. You can right now see which plan. He basically wanted to push the opponent off this side so that he can finish the mid-goal, get the gold, and basically move slightly forward towards the opponent gold. So in that case it was actually fairly clever. Not really that bad, and the tornado did actually pay off exactly as it should have. Exactly as it should have for Moore's game plan. Right now the army is coming forward yet again, as the cavalry is, oh well, not really wanting to see upgrades on the palm tree. This may be right now gonna be harvested for some palm oil into all kinds of sweets, but otherwise of course on the right side we see a lot of walling going on. And is it gonna be finished in time for this Hagrit villager? Maybe he's gonna have to cast some curse to actually survive this, but apparently not. Yeah, those villagers are gonna mob her. They're gonna definitely mob her, especially with the priest right there. So that is kinda dangerous for Hagrid, because he's going for siege works there, as he was having some secondary plan, or maybe attacking the fortified TC from some kind of safety of surprise, basically. And the gold is gonna be absolutely unsafe as he has finished with this one, but he still does have at least a bit of a gold mines at the top side, but they're gonna be increasingly difficult to control, especially since Moore has fully switched into a different kind of army, and some hell elephants are gonna be also making an appearance in there. So that's a pretty solid army right now coming forward, and right next to the enemy, and especially the catapults are an issue. The catapults are a huge issue for Hagrid, as they will be meaning that any building like here, like the Migdol, or even the TCs are gonna be fairly easy to take down. And he also mustn't forget that Hagrid so far, as he's coming for Quarry just now, is not gonna be having a fortified TC, and he doesn't have any kind of masons or anything like that either. So you can see he's really in pretty deep problems. Because, of course, coming for Carpenter is gonna be helping as well. But is he gonna be able to get into the Mythical Age? That's the question. Because right now Moore is already in there for quite a bit of time. Whereas Hagrid is not looking all that well for that. You can see right now, maybe he is gonna be coming there. It seems like he actually cancelled a lot of Qden units, it seems like. Or, like half of his economy, just basically deposited resources at the same time. I'm thinking it's gonna be the latter. I think it's gonna be, or rather, the former, like the first one, that he cancelled a lot of units. As right now, I was kinda thinking that he could be using the resources to get finally into the Mythical Age, but no, he actually did it so that he can get some ancestors, not really, well, it's like kind of the similar way, that he's gonna be helping into the battle. It's gonna be mercenaries coming forward, and that, of course, that might be giving him some kind of temporary advantage. As right now, finally fortified TC is coming in, but I don't see what kind of reason he was actually having for that. He just pushed the opponent a bit back without gaining anything all that much, I'm thinking, as he's starting with the trade. But the right side is really getting kinda crowded with all of the villages in there, as apparently Hagrid is gonna be switching into some kind of at least barracks, and that might be enough, because if he's gonna be producing at least a few slingers to get rid of the villages and at least like guard him here, I mean, kinda why not? Really, kinda why not at this point? But anyway, here we go. Of course, Moore is gonna be advancing forward with quite a strong army, as he's finally having some heavy chariots. Still, the armor upgrades are pretty much the same, as the elephants are not really upgraded yet, but he was able to take down the Migdol, which is very important, because this is gonna be crippling Hagrid. He's gonna be down to about 2 Migdols. Yep, he's having only 2 of those at this point, instead of 3, so of course that's always gonna be a problem for any player. So of course the catapults, basically the catapults are the main reason why he's pushing forward. If it wasn't for the catapults, I'm fairly certain Hagrid would be able to manage, especially with the mercenaries that all Egyptians still are having. So of course those catapults That is a bait that doesn't have counterplay so far for Hagrid. And you can see that Hagrid is really struggling. 400, 300, he's nowhere close by to Mythical Age. And much more importantly, he's having basically only 107 population limits. He's basically missing 60 units, or rather 60 population limit in units. Whereas his opponent is gonna be at 131. He's also not pop, but he's still having about 20 more population limit for himself. So that is exactly the difference, and exactly why he's pushing forward. Of course, supported by all the catapults. Yep, gonna be coming with the tactical wall in to protect the catapults. Definitely nice play, and something that you should be doing. As on the bottom side, you can see that Hagrid is not gonna be having any kind of easy time coming through, as the tower has been built to prevent that, or at least slow it down. There's a TC for a few more mercenaries, of course, as well as those villagers. They finish with their work and gonna be coming back to lumberjacking. But that still means, that pretty much still means that Hagrid is gonna be having the free gold there. And it's gonna be very important for his game, as he still does have the gold in here. He's gonna be running out, and then it's gonna be getting tricky. He's gonna be fully, of course, reliant on the trade. As at the bottom, we are gonna be, of course, looking at the trade from Hagrid coming from here all the way to the top, which is, of course, making plenty of sense. It should be coming to this TC. It probably is. Yeah, it is. He's just not having all that many caravans yet, and he definitely needs to wall up quite a lot, because if his opponent is gonna be getting there in some kind of unexpected manner, then it's gonna be kinda game over, because his gold mine reserves are definitely running out. Whereas for more, he still does have at least this one, well, 500 gold. Not really much here either, but it seems like he's gonna be exactly aggressively able to count for enemy gold mine pretty much, and make it count a whole lot better. So there we go.
And to you.
There's gonna be, of course, Camelry coming as well. Here forward. Well, this is a bit of a stalemate situation right now. And it seems like Hagrid was exactly in time to actually get rid of this tactical wall in. So pretty good job. Because if that didn't happen, then he was in for pretty deep problems, which luckily for him didn't happen. As right now, Hagrid is still on the back foot, because you can see that more with the Mythical Age, he's just gonna be, the longer the game goes, the bigger the advantage is gonna be getting for him. You can see right now Camelry not really upgraded that much, but he does have at least copper weapons at this point. As the Avenger, oh, okay. Even Avenger has been made by more. That's not a bad idea, because Avenger is really kind of strong. He's having a huge attack at 28. His special attack is really dangerous. Really dangerous indeed. As heavy chariots are in there, bronze, copper. Coming there slowly. But for Hagrid, he's having the heavy chariots and the baseline of upgrade. So at least something for him. But it's not really that strong yet. And he definitely is falling back at this point, you can see. Not really that convincingly. But since he is gonna be relinquishing this part of the map, you can see even the towers are gonna be immensely helping. It's a good idea for the map control and for the ground control here. For more, he can right now basically hide the catapults somewhere around this wall, and he's gonna be able to take down, of course, the DC without all that much of a trouble after that, once the walls are finished. Maybe not even gonna be doing that, just coming through the middle, right there, with, of course, Hagrid not having enough military production, and the problem in that is gonna be because he doesn't have enough migdals. You can see Morris having 1, 2, 3 right here. 3 oh, it's interesting build up by Hagrid at the top. 3 migdals here, 2 siege works. 2 siege works, as he's right now finally in the range of the TC, as basically right now Hagrid vomited all of those mercenaries in at basically the same spot to try and help him get rid of the catapults, but can he actually get there? It's gonna be tricky, as this Avenger is gonna be pulling off quite a bit of weight. He's killing 1 catapult, 2nd catapult, DC is kept alive. It's gonna be staying alive for a bit longer. You can see the villagers are repairing it about now, but still the mercenaries are the only reason why this is still standing at this point. And with the towers finally coming forward, it's gonna be increasingly difficult for Hagrid to get rid of the catapults, even with the mercenaries in there. And of course, it's costing him a lot of gold at this point. Looking at his economy, he finally might be getting into the Mythical Age sometime in the close vicinity, but he is really running out of the gold quite significantly, and he's having basically the last gold mine, as this one on the top left is unfortunately for him not available at all. As right now, champion chariots are finally in, even though other upgrades are kinda missing. He also does have, yeah, this champion chariots. I was just thinking is the upgrade to increase the damage against buildings, the burning arrows, or how is it called, flaming arrows. But no, that's not it. That's not it, as another catapult is rolling forward with his friend as well. And oh well, right now it's basically no army for Hagrit, and he is already gonna be even losing the repairs right here. So this is looking like a one of the last pushes for more, maybe, that is gonna be needed, because right now the gold is gonna be running out at the bottom. There's no counterplay by Hagrid so far being made there. And of course with the chariot archers coming even into a bit deeper into the enemy territory, catching of Hagrid off guard, catching him off guard on the Migdal in there, that is not something that he would be able to withstand, because he is just not getting into the Mythical Age. But to be honest, it has to be said, he really played rather well, because he played in Heroic Age versus a Mythical Age and for about 10 minutes. And he was still making it very hard for more. So basically, if Hagrid could get the Mythic in some kind of reasonable timing, it was looking like he was actually reasonably comfortable in this game. But yeah, well, he just couldn't get there. And the Mythical Age, in the end, of course, with the potential technological advantage coming with that, won the game for more. Well then. It's gonna be 2-1 for more. Gonna be Scanum. Not really all that much different. Can see literally the same amount of civilian units. 191 military count units killed 262. That's kind of solid. You can see that Hagrid the opposite 250 count and lost and killed only 192. That's really quite a difference in there. But I think this is gonna be a lot skewed because of mercenaries. Seemed like that Hagrid used a lot more of them. 704 fast heroic. Solid. Very solid indeed. That's what you see on vanilla. GG.